One. Hey guys, welcome back to the Insider Outsider podcast with your host Rav and your other host Ahmed. So Ahmed has been vibe coding like crazy, obviously, because that's all he does. Ahmed, the vibe coder, as I like to say. But yeah, Ahmed. So why don't you bring us over today? Let us know what's kind of the conversation today.
We could start by talking about some stuff happening in the economy, some geopolitical things, and then touch base on vibe coding.
Yeah, let's
Um,
hear it.
I think
First,
we're looking
actually,
at
if you
cuts,
could,
interest rate cuts,
yeah,
or do you want to talk about vibe
cool.
coding?
Let's talk about vibe coding. What is vibe coding?
Okay.
Because I feel like a lot of people would hear the concept a lot, but they won't actually understand what it is. So what is vibe
So,
coding?
vibe coding is when you leverage artificial intelligence to write code.
Mm-hmm.
And what you do is you generate a PRD, which you could also get AI to help you articulate and understand.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite ways to do this is to use Gemini
Mm-hmm.
recursively, where you talk to Gemini about the vision that you're trying to build.
Mm-hmm.
It's a software. So vibe coding is leveraging AI to code a software,
Okay.
and the time money value, the value proposition in comparison to prior to AI is that the time money value is highly leveraged. What I
Mm-hmm.
mean by that is it becomes very easy and quick to establish a framework of a software.
Mm-hmm.
Like it takes you seconds
So,
compared to yeah.
so what you're saying is being able to use vibe coding allows somebody to just have a lot more time value because they're not going to be stuck writing code.
Yes,
Okay.
the time money value of development
Mm-hmm.
is streamlined, and so there's this thing called the information age,
Mm-hmm.
where people got very rich, and they developed all sorts of things like Amazon, email. That information age is now being added to the new AI age, and the AI
Mm-hmm.
age is being people that are vibe coding are taking full advantage of this new AI age, quantum
Mm-hmm.
computing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that vibe coding is one of the many things that will be alongside robotics, AI and robotics,
Mm-hmm.
in the sense that they're both pushing productivity in the stock market.
Mm-hmm.
They're both very what's the word uh, they shift everything. What's it called? There's a word for it, I forget, but they're very disruptive. And when you have disruptive technology, you tend to you're directly more than likely impacting productivity.
Mm-hmm.
And Kathy Woods is someone that is someone that runs the YouTube channel that she has. She always talks
She
about vibe coding.
yeah, just the guys that listen about Kathy Wood, she is the pretty much she's one of the wealthiest females in the world, and also
Yes.
she is the number one hedge fund owner that's a woman. So she has credibility, lots of credibility.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she recently posted a video that we've you know watched and broke down. She talks about the positive outlook for the economy, and
Mm-hmm.
um, and she always mentions how vibe coding is something that you should be
Studying.
directly focusing your attention on.
Yeah, I think people. I think just consuming it to something is. I think people are scared about vibe coding, but it's the idea that because actually I brought up the idea to vibe coding to one of my coding buddies. All right, somebody taking computer
Yes,
science, and
yes,
it was not a positive reaction. It was a very negative reaction. They straight went to the dissing it out rather than like, oh, how much is helping me. So Kathy Woods also
they're
made
white.
another video. Yeah, exactly. The Kathy Woods also made another video a while ago, and I remember Kathy Woods has a lot of credibility. So
Mhm,
she
mhm.
was talking about how, if you guys were unaware, if the Fortune 500 companies, 70% of the actual coding time is now done by AI. It is not done by humans. Humans check it, humans add security to it, humans reprogram, repurpose, obviously code. But coding is, vibe coding especially, is a big portion of all these companies. It has become huge. Now, when it comes to people in some sort of a software industry, such as the mentioned ones, that the issue with them is a lot of them right now are unemployed. That's just how I'm going to say it, because a lot of them don't have experience. All companies only
Not
want
only that,
people who yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I'll finish and then I'll get back to your point, because don't forget your point though. I have a feeling I know what you're
Sorry to
saying.
cut you off.
Yeah, yeah, it's all good.
And it's
Uh,
the same thing.
yeah, but pretty much hmm, I'm trying to frame how to say it, but they see as this as a direct impact to why they can't get jobs, and I actually think of it completely. Yeah, look, eventually this actually going to help them get even more jobs. What people don't understand is this: the same way how radiologists before, back in the day, but everybody thought that radiologists were done once AI can now check everything. There's more radiologists than ever before because they can now actually focus on figuring out the problem and fixing it rather than having to study the actual paper. Same thing with code. The thing is, when you can make AI code the same thing, it takes a whole team of programmers a year that you can code in a day. There is definitely a help for that. But what you need is there is no time in history where I truly think that a company will not want at least one human to look over the code just to make sure there's no flaws, no random thing that something else is putting over, no hacks. Because what if somebody hacks the code? Everybody wants to know that their code is safe. So people who are in software, in computer science, they will have different purposes for their jobs, not to code anymore, but to be able to study the code, to be able to learn from the code, to be able to master it, to be able to make sure security flaws, none of that's irrelevant. Because remember, quantum computing, as you mentioned, is most likely going to decrypt every single thing ahead of its pace, right? So if it can decrypt everything, you're going to have to consistently keep adding on security, keep innovating, keep encryption, keep even better and better encryption. And a lot of people aren't ready for it. But so in the short term, people don't seem like it's a good idea. Long term, it's a fantastic idea. And sorry, Amity, you were saying?
There's also a high saturation of degrees that belong to computer science. What I mean by that is that
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of people studying the space. They didn't have the foresight to see AI. The thing is, I think your opinion and my opinion differ, but they complement each other. And I think that the best narrative or the best ideas are sit between two extremes, where it's very centered and balanced.
Mm-hmm.
I think Rab represents the absolute optimist, and I represent absolute pessimist. But not. I don't mean this in the extreme sense.
I think
Like I'm
you,
not
if
the
you don't,
extreme sense,
I don't think you're a
but
pessimist. I
in
think you can think like a pessimist, but every
yes,
time I talk to you about ideas, you're always in the middle to more
exactly.
optimist.
What's the middle? The middle is optimism. But I feel like although I think optimistically within pessimistic perspectives, and Rav thinks optimistically, but within optimistic perspectives as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel
I
like
loved how you
he's
framed it. Very
balanced in a
nice.
way. I'm trying to add nuance because I feel like the answers that don't have two extremes are not nuanced, and they belong to yes or no.
Mm-hmm.
So yes or no. And most difficult questions do not fall under yes or no. Difficult questions belong in the middle ground of two extremes. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, most
So I
answers
think
always are in the middle. It's never one side or it's usually you never one side or the other, right? It's always somewhere in the middle.
yeah,
But yeah,
there's a
it,
depth to it.
yeah.
There's like a ABC have to line up to get yes or no,
Uh-huh.
not
As
all
you
yes or no.
as you can notice, this guy really liked the Kathy Woods video. So yeah, what else did you learn from the Kathy Woods video that you want to discuss?
I love Kathy Woods,
Mm-hmm.
and I think she is very optimistic, which I am as well,
Mm-hmm.
about the short-term economic benefits of quantitative easing. But my perspective has been um, influenced by. Uh, Let me just say this: I see that the banking structure, the financial world, is kind of like alcoholism.
Mm-hmm.
They print money, and then the crash happens.
Uh-huh.
It's an ebb and flow. And right now we're on the positive side, which means you need to be an optimist. You need to be invested in properties that have upside. You need to be invested in spaces that have upside. But there is a crash to this. But that's the macro view. So the way I look at Kathy was she's very very smart, but she does not have. She has mathematical ways of studying physics.
Can I
Physics has
I'll add on
physics
to it.
has other things to apply. We continue. Yeah.
Yeah, so I love Kathy Woods as well. I think she's fantastic. Her insight is invaluable, right? So I watch her stuff always. I do have to
Yeah.
to say one thing, okay? Very truthfully, you have to understand she's not on a podcast. She's on her own video. And the thing
Yeah.
also is this. So it can be
Oh,
edited to make it look a certain way. The issue that I see is this. There's a conflict of interest. When you own stocks of a company, you're very
yeah.
rarely going to say anything negative that could hurt the stock. You usually only want to say something that's
That's
going to
very
pump
true.
it, right? There's only
That's very
one case where somebody did, and that was Elon Musk. I don't remember if you remember, but I think it was 2022. Can't remember when, but he's like, Tesla stock is too high. And it immediately caused the stock to crash. And then,
Oh my
yeah,
god.
so the SEC went after
Oh
Elon.
my
Yeah,
god, bro. Oh
but
my, I didn't
that
know that.
yeah, he
It's
did
his
that.
own company. He shot
He was
himself in the foot.
yeah, he was a real one. All right, he was a real one, and that caused the stock market to that's caused Tesla prices to crash. But nobody else would say so.
Yeah.
So even if Kathy Woods saw that a crash was going to come about something, she is not the person to listen to who is going to tell you because in all she needs to do
She
is make
does.
sure that her investors are
Exactly.
getting returns on their investments because it's a hedge fund.
Yeah.
It's still money, right? Like ARK investment is actual fund, and again who do I want the person who I'm investing in to say something that's going to negatively impact my portfolio, my value? No, I would not. And I know she would not either, right? So she is very optimistic, and there's a reason to be. I believe that, again, short term, I think we are doing fantastic. I don't know if you saw, oh,
Yeah.
apologies, Mark Carney,
Oh,
Donald Trump,
yes.
and the Mexican Prime Minister, all were seated together, and all were having a very, very good conversation. And they were
Mm,
laughing and they were enjoying. So obviously that could impact one thing to the other, right? And I know
mm.
Ahmed's gonna say, "Oh, I told you they were best friends over there. They're planning this whole thing," but I say this is a step in the right direction, right? And from what was said in that conversation, is the USMA deal they do want to continue. So it looks like
Okay.
USMA again.
Another.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah.
That's good news.
Again,
Oh,
but like I mentioned to you, regardless whether the USMA deal, if it does not renew, it's still not going to get taken away. But let's just say it fully goes away for a hypothetical sake. There are still
mhm.
stuff that the USA needs, which is oil. It still needs oil. They are gonna take our oil. Again, remember, we are not actually making too much money with the
What
oil.
was that energy stock that you mentioned earlier?
Are you talking about TAC, Atlantic Energy?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is there positive implications from this
Of
on?
course. Well, there's positive. I think once people get more understanding that everything is
Yeah.
going to be okay, and you have more
Yeah.
signs, it's going to throw positive, including in stock markets like that. The thing is, the first data center. By the way, Ahmed, you're about to have some huge love. Okay, Telus. We've been talking a lot about Telus on the channel recently because their
Yeah.
dividends are 9%. Do you know Telus? It has created the first data center in Canada,
Where?
sovereign data
Where?
center. I don't remember exactly where it was. Sorry, I believe it's somewhere in Ontario, if I'm not
Alberta
mistaken.
would be great. Alberta
Yeah,
makes
exactly.
sense.
But they made their first sovereign data center, the first one that only is used here in Canada, controlled by Canadians. It's still using NVIDIA chips. They have partnerships with NVIDIA. They have partnerships with all the big guys. But
Yeah.
it's the first sovereign one here in Canada. Now, I believe this is the first of many because Canada is usually very late to the party. I've noticed this time and time again. Canada is going to be putting data centers all over the place, and there's only one place, which again is the energy sector of Canada, and that is Alberta. So it's only a matter of time. And again, the reason why I'm so bullish on this
That
company is,
stock.
yeah,
That
exactly,
stock is going to put
on
some action.
TAC is because they have many facilities that they're not using, because they don't have the demand for it at the moment. And so once
They
they
have
get,
room. They have runway.
yeah,
That's what you're
exactly.
suggesting.
Because think of it like this: to create infrastructure right away is going to cost years, 3 to 5 years for them to build infrastructure. For these guys to turn their data centers back on, because remember they're still maintaining, is going to be 6 months to a year. So if you're a data center owner, you're trying to build a data center, you're trying to get
Yeah.
money as fast as you can in the pipeline. Why on earth would you wait 5 years when you can do it in 1 year? And this company is
Time money
positioned
value. Time
exactly.
money
This
value.
this
Yeah.
company is valued for, and that's the position that I'm in for this particular stock, and the reason why I was looking at it, right? But again,
I'm positioned now
yeah,
heavily into it as well.
exactly. I'm happy to hear it, and it's just a matter of time till you see it, right? But in Alberta,
Yeah.
especially, like, did you also see the other thing? Ice. I don't know if you saw the ice. Did you see the ice story of armor trucks? Okay,
Yeah. What was that? Is
so
it?
in Ontario, like we
Okay.
mentioned, there are a lot of everybody works on steel there. It's a big steel thing. They ICE has now commissioned what is it, $10 million to make 20 armored vehicles, some big armored vehicles for the police.
I
And they
see.
did not
Yeah.
do it in the USA. They did it with Canada. Do you know why? Funny enough, I'll tell you why. It's because it's not that Canada's the only one that can produce them, because this was a private company in Ontario, but it's because they
Mhm.
had the quickest runway. They said they could do it within a year, or in 2 months or 3 months. Sorry, under 3 months, I think. So they're doing it very quickly. Versus, I guess the other companies all said they need to take longer. So ICE is getting stuff from Canada, which is very interesting, right? But it
Yeah, it's
just,
good.
yeah,
It's good news.
yeah. I mean, finally, right? At least get some money into the economy. And so it just goes to show you that even Canada can do some stuff right. It needs to continue on the path of being able to continue the growth trajectory. Like Telus, although I love Telus, it's a telecommunication giant. Why are there not more data centers being built? There needs to be a lot more data centers. Right now in Calgary, there are 30 proposed data centers. 3 of them have been built. All right. The other 30 are on backlog because they don't have energy. So that's where, again, is the T.
It's just we're waiting on the runway to apply. The
Exactly.
one that THC has. I see it's
Exactly.
interesting.
And that's how I see it, right? So data centers are on the way. It just takes a lot of time, right? And Canada's a lot more like they're a lot more screwed on what's exactly going to happen, because in the USA they're putting data centers right next to communities, and all of a sudden somebody's electricity bill goes 50% higher, right?
Yeah,
In
yeah,
Canada,
yeah.
in Alberta, they're trying to avoid that, so they can see from the mistakes, and it brings us great sector. But man, I love how we're always talking about energy, right? Because energy is the currency of the world, man.
Even as of recently, my friends have told me that data, so like like HDD drives or SSD drives, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
have been
It's
there's a
starting to get
supply shock.
reused, yeah, because they can actually contain a lot more data than other stuff. Yeah, I saw that a little while ago as well.
And not only that, the price just like right now, if you want to buy an SSD,
Mm-hmm.
it like doubled.
Yeah,
So it's we're
anything else,
seeing these
anything in terms
sections.
of any electronics, right? It's going high, but that's just the economy right now, right? Everybody is putting a lot of money into it.
Yeah.
It's a very
Um,
interesting time with that, Amin.
Kathy Woods, I think, also mentioned how China is providing very, very cheap exports. They're exporting a lot of stuff, but
Yeah,
very, very cheap.
yeah. China's
They're not
yeah.
like
She was talking about China's economy too, and again, like I
no,
told you, I value her opinion a lot. I don't know exactly how she, because she's very much in a big position where she's a lot of Americans built built ETF, right? They have emerging markets too, by the way. So they do
mhm,
invest in China as well, but their heavy duty is here in the USA. Also, one other thing I'll just say is, I don't think it'd be in anybody's interest if any of the
yeah,
hedge fund managers, any of the wealthiest people in the USA are going to be talking bad about their own president, because it's probably going to
no.
undermine exactly.
It,
It's like Costco
the
right now.
ecosystem is
Yeah,
shooting themselves in the foot. No
yeah,
way. Yeah, it
it's
makes
like
sense.
Costco. Actually, I was actually I'm disappointed and not disappointed at Costco at the same time. So if you guys saw, Costco actually is suing the Trump administration over
Yeah.
the tariff, because they're trying to get the tariff money. The problem is this, all right? I'm not here to debate whether they're legal or not legal. I'm just here to
Mhm.
say, if they fail, meaning they lose the case, Donald Trump
Yes.
will to make Costco one of its enemies. And the last thing you want to do is make the government your enemy. So, in my
Mm.
opinion, that was a bad move. I would not, especially because remember, you have this guy for 3 more years. He's not even halfway done his
Yeah.
thing. So it's like, man, you don't want to be swinging in the middle of it. It's like, Ahmed, if you and me are living together, the last thing I should be doing is talking smack about you over the phone call when you're in the other room. Why? Like, that's just a stupid idea.
It's not. Yeah. You don't want to. What's it called?
Antagonize.
Like you don't want. You don't. There's a saying like you don't want to shit where you sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
You
You don't want to, right? Like Costco's huge in the USA, right? Like obviously, and so like whatever your political beliefs are, it's like I don't think it was a solid I move. I know they're losing a lot. They want to make all that money back, right? But I'd say wait until you
Yeah.
see the outcome of what happens in the judge system to see if they say okay they're not good. Everyone's gonna get their money back, or they're not gonna get their money back, and then go from there, right? Don't just start attacking when you don't even know what's going on. Because now, what if the
What if,
courts say, yeah, if they're all chill, everybody, you can keep collecting tariffs.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I see.
now Costco
But
again
what
just
if they
shot itself in
win?
the foot.
What's the other side of the coin? What if they win?
If they
Are they?
win, they still
Yeah.
are. It's still not a good idea. I'll tell you why. They
Yeah.
make a lot of
Yeah. It's
money,
like
but
it's a
then
lose
it
lose.
is a lose lose situation. It's like any of the news channels. Have you noticed in the White House, any of the news channels that Donald Trump loves always gets like they get the best video, they get the best audio. Any of the companies that doesn't like, he just sits there and says, "Yeah, garbage network, fake news." Like, bro, that's the last thing you want.
Yeah.
You want to have actual coverage that you can report on, right?
That's like favoritism, right? That's like
Exactly. It's and so again, last thing you like, if I had any company in the USA, I the last thing I want to do is be known. I would just want to do my stuff, stay under the radar, so that nobody from any administration is trying to attack me. I don't want the left to attack me. I don't want the right to attack me, right? And now some people
you
might
want
say, "Oh,
good,
then you're not a
good. Yeah.
belief in anything, right?" Then no, the thing
Yeah.
is, you have shareholder value. Costco is a publicly traded company. People buy Costco stock. I'm to guarantee you, the people who are buying Costco stock are not trying to get Costco involved in politics. They want Costco to do what it's good, what it's best at, providing great
Yeah.
prices and great
Yeah.
quality and quantity of items. Not fight the Donald Trump administration. That's not what I do.
There's
Again,
multiple facets that could
yeah,
apply
that's
on the
again.
stock
This is my
price.
personal opinion. People will
Public
disagree
image,
with this a lot, and I
public
completely
image. Yeah.
understand why you disagree with it. I completely understand. So don't think like, oh, I'm just talking out of my foot. I understand why they did
No.
it. I just think
Yeah.
it was not the best move because again, I'm just saying, what is stopping Donald Trump from hitting, figuring out what your best food is or your best item is, and then just taxing the hell out of it,
There.
or
But that's the thing is,
randomly getting
it
ICE
would
to
be
target your
working. it would be working against his own interests too. Because if he genuinely wants the American economy to function,
Mhm.
he wouldn't infringe on their
Yeah,
ability to make profits.
but I mean, I disagree though. I think he
There
definitely
is there's a little more. There's a little more
yeah,
to the.
he
But
definitely
I see
wants.
what you're implying.
I understand what you're saying too. But the thing is, I think overall Donald Trump wants to be seen as right.
You don't exactly. So
Remember, like
I
the
think
Ronald
that
Reagan ad that came
yeah,
out. It was big. Don't get me wrong.
and remember,
But
I
nobody
don't
knew about it.
necessarily.
Nobody knew about it until
Yeah,
Donald Trump himself promoted the shit out of it when he was making fun of it. So no one knew about it, right? I mean, it was going to be played on the stage, but no one was thinking twice about it until he himself made it a huge scene. So that's
uh,
where, you know what I'm saying?
this is where I start to speculate. Is it Donald Trump's best? What's within Donald Trump's best interest? Now, I think that he's. So let's bring this into light.
How we
Game
always
theory
go to this,
suggests
we always get to this game theory.
game theory, right?
Mm-hmm,
Game theory is when two people, they work together and then they get a benefit result,
mm-hmm,
and then there's an arms race on working together. Two groups of two become groups of three, and so on, and it just the game continues to
mm-hmm,
move forward. And the way that you beat this arms race, the way that you transcend that, is you transgress, which means that you cooperate behind the scenes, you cheat.
mm-hmm.
Now, the reason I think a lot of the what's her name again, Kathy Woods.
Yes.
I think Kathy Woods uses probability, uses quantitative easing, quantitative tightening data.
Mm-hmm.
Probably has like in an investment firm, quants that do a bunch of these probability analysis.
Yeah, your favorite quant
Monte, they
investor,
call
Jim
them.
Simmons.
They call yeah. They call them Monte Carlo simulations.
Uh-huh.
And here's the thing: I actually would rather not listen to Kathy Wood, listen to Nancy Pelosi, because Nancy Pelosi does not operate on any probability. She either knows this is good or
She's the
it's either.
best trader in the world, man. What are you talking about?
So my whole thesis is to not watch people that operate on um, arms race. Kathy Wood's operating on arms race. She can be right, but she's going to stray away from people like Nancy Pelosi, because Nancy Pelosi doesn't lose. She doesn't lose because she cheats.
She
She does,
wins.
and I honestly like the whole idea of Canada and our prime minister and Trump is predicated on the transgression part, and that's where I feel like me and you kind of differ.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only part that me and you differ.
Yeah,
But we
completely.
do have.
I again, I think, I very much think this. Okay, so for the positions we are in our life, we see exactly how we see things. When you come down to the gist of it, it's the
Yeah,
exact same solution, just different ways on how we get there, right? So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly, right.
That's
So
exactly it. That's exactly it.
yeah,
But I feel like if I leverage what you have, like investing in THC,
mm-hmm,
and you leverage what I have to a certain degree, there's a centerness.
mm-hmm.
There's more of a balance. There's an ethos of investment or hedge fund management for the people that want to invest in the future. We're trying to
You know,
build a community and get a hedge
exactly right.
fund.
The thing is, like again, ideas in world works when people have different conjunctions of ideas. All right.
Yeah,
If you
yeah,
ask Rav how many times has he been right about stocks, a lot. I'm very good at what I do. If you
yeah,
ask Rav how many times he's been wrong about stocks, I'm very good at what I do. I'm getting things wrong as well. So there is no shortage of getting stuff right. There is no shortage of getting stuff wrong, right? And
but
so
you take risk.
yeah,
You take
of
risk.
course.
You take
But that's the
consistently take risk.
yeah, but that's the idea of risk, right? Like even now,
Yeah,
you
no
know,
reward
a
without risk.
leverage would have never been something I even thought of. But after talking to you, now I'm in a triple leverage ETF for S&P 500 because I realized that it just makes way more sense. Like here, I'm gonna
Mhm.
show the chat a chart. Okay, one chart that I've been using to funnel my thesis. Okay, and
Yeah,
Ahmed, I want to show you this as well, and because again, people keep telling me about risk, and I keep telling them, hey, even if you fail, even if blah blah blah, even if blah blah
it's a
blah,
hedge.
exactly.
There's a hedge.
Well, here I see like you have so much time horizon, especially if you're young, to remake it even if it fails, that you're going to like here.
Yeah,
I'll show it to you guys because I want people to understand. All right, so
it's not the money; it's the person you become as a result of trying to get to the money.
exactly, and then I'm also
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
compare this to UPRO just so we can see. And the thing is, over the last little while, we've had very healthy growth. We had very healthy amounts of profit being made. However,
yeah.
the difference in profit have been substantial. I'm going to show you this a chart on this. All right, Ahmed, just so you can understand. Okay.
Yeah.
If it's a triple leverage ETF, how much money do you
Yes.
make more than the S&P 500?
About a so 3x. The
Uh-huh.
thing is, it's a 2x really, because you
Uh-huh.
suggested there's fees, and so I would say double.
False.
You said
uh,
you told me this.
uh,
You expressed this to me
Ahmed,
once.
Ahmed, just watch this, okay? So SPY is Spider
Yeah.
ETF. This is just a regular ETF. It's tracking. The yellow is Pro Shares, UP or RO, and that is a three leveraged S&P 500. Let's take
Wow.
a look, okay?
Exponential. It's not
Yeah,
a. That
let's
makes
look over here.
statistically.
It's not. Have you?
I didn't have insight. You're
Yeah,
investing your DTA,
yeah.
your dollar cost averaging,
From
right? That's what you're.
2010 to now, if you had
Yeah.
invested into UPRO uh versus just a regular S&P 500, the difference is over 8x.
Why is that? Is there a theta decay? Like, leverage has operational costs,
Yes.
and they tell you you purchase anything with leverage that
Uh-huh.
you need to understand that this is not supposed to be held because there's a decay.
Yeah.
But what you're showing to me, if you DCA, if you dollar cost average, which isn't a strategy of just buying and holding, you're buying incrementally, spaced out. So that's what you're doing, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
That I get the idea now. What you're suggesting, not
You
just invest one time, invest across the historical uptrend.
Yeah, but as you can see, entire time period you would have 8x the amount of money. So in stuff, because a lot of in stuff, if you're using your brain and you're like, wait a second, if I invested just $200 $300 a month from the age of 20 to the age of
Yeah.
18 to age of 65, I would have had $3 million. Well, right now you would be closer to 15 to $18 million if you invested into UPRO.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, is
Um,
there risk along the way? Yes, but is the risk worth it? My opinion,
yeah.
100%. And that's what
Yeah.
again. This is what I want to make apparent. In the concept of just using leverage, you have your regular portfolio. That's just my regular S&P 500. I have not changed it, but now I started adding $200 $300 a week into this UPRO portfolio because hey, if it's going to do this over the period of 15
Yeah.
years, it's going to over 8x. The other thing, allow it. I put that money in, and if I find different avenues to make more money, like for example, drones come, this is my fund money. I can easily liquidate this and put it into something else. But from what I've noticed, it's fantastic. And now you're probably wondering, why is the difference not 3x? Why is it? It should have been less than 3x because of fees
Because
and
you're
all this stuff.
incrementally buying.
Exactly.
Incrementally buying.
But
Yeah.
it's exact. But another reason is this:
What is it?
the 3x is a daily. It's not permanent. It's a daily. So if it goes down by 3%,
Reset.
exactly. It's daily, so it resets every single day. So
Yeah.
so it's like if you go from a $1 and there's a second dollar, okay, $1 goes up 3% today.
It's a,
It's
it's a no-brainer. It's a
yeah,
no-brainer.
no brainer.
So, what's stopping the collective from
So
and investment like
there's a
this?
few things. There's a few reasons why I would avoid it. There's a few reasons I would do it. If you're in your 40s, I wouldn't do it because
Yeah.
if you put if you're at $1 million in there and you're at UPROs and all of a sudden it goes down 33%, there's a very good likelihood. I believe it's close to 40%. If you do 40%, you lose all your money.
Yeah.
You don't get that money
It's,
back. It's gone. It's liquidated. But
yeah. Yeah.
now, if you're 20 years old, your technical compound in this aspect is about
Yeah.
25%, which is almost double the S&P 500 regularly. So let's say you did this for 10
What's the
years.
Fibonacci? That
Huh?
makes no sense to me. Because there should be a Fibonacci. There, it should be a. If you were to find the best leverage, what would it be? Would it be 3x?
I believe 3x, yes. I'll explain why. Okay.
There's a point where it's a 50-50, right?
Yes. The more leverage you get is not better. Because if it's five, because the reason why I do 3x is from the biggest stock market crash that we've seen, it went
For
up
30
down.
days. Question.
Exact.
Question. 30 days. You're investing into this. What's the likelihood of liquidating within the 30-day horizon?
Very little.
Time horizon.
Very little. It would be like
Like,
percentages.
two to 3 days you
There's
get
only been
liquidated.
two times.
Two, 3 days. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's only been
Like,
2 days. Two singular days
yeah,
in the stock market history that have fallen by 40% a day. So there's only 2 times in the last since inception of the stock market that the stock market would have fallen by 40%, liquidating you. But
yeah,
here's the thing. So if there was only 2 or 3 times in the past history that you could have gone liquidated, the likelihood of you getting liquidated is very little. But even if you get liquidated, here's my position. When you're young,
yeah.
when you're 20 and you start investing in this, even if you get
Mm,
liquidated at 40 or sorry, at 30 years old, you still have such a long time horizon at 25% growth per year that you're still going to outpace the person at the S&P 500. You still have recoverable growth. So you're able.
There's something called alpha. You
Uh-huh.
heard of the term alpha?
Yeah, the alpha of a stock.
Alpha alpha is when you find no, when quantitative analysis,
Okay, okay,
quant trading.
yeah, yeah.
Alpha is an algorithm that would yield you profitability.
Mm-hmm.
And once it's known by one person, it gets used until everyone starts to know something, and then it fades away. Alpha becomes non-profitable.
Uh-huh.
And what I was telling you is, what's the Fibonacci? Fibonacci is the highest. It's the best leverage you can get that could allow you to grow the quickest.
Mm-hmm.
So what you want to be is in and out of the market. You want to make a profit.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't know whether or not 3x or even 3.5x is better than 3x.
Uh-huh.
And what's the Fibonacci is an expression of what's the
I
best
believe, again,
maximum.
I have not seen exact
It's an
percentages,
exponential
but
law.
if you're at 3.5%, you have I believe like like instead of 2 or 3 times in history, you would have
But
been.
you're doing this through a company, right?
Yes.
Company that manages this.
Yes.
What do they take from this? Is there's
No, there's always
operational fee?
there's management fees. Yes, just like in any ETF, but SPY also has management fees. Every company,
Can
any
you
ETF
shop
will have.
around and find the best one that takes the least amount?
They're gonna take more for triple leverage. Like this one's is definitely
Yeah,
more,
yeah.
right? But
But the
again,
thing is, their upside is
is
calculated. There's
substantially
no
more.
reason.
Yeah,
There's no reason for them to give you a product that you profit more than they do.
exactly. I disagreed. I agreed. Here's the whole position. It's all a
If
basis
they're,
about the
if they're
person.
always in profit, there's always in profit.
But they're always in
I give
profit. They are always in profit. Like for the triple leverage ETF, they charge a higher management fee, but the management
yeah,
fee is off the total amount of money that's in the account, which means they
they're the
profit the
casino.
more money you make. Exactly. So the more
They're
money
the
you
casino.
have, they profit more of.
I see. You're
Yeah.
you're leveraging the opportunity. That makes sense.
Yeah, but again, for the triple, like you could do triple leverage yourself as well, right? This just makes it
Yeah,
easy. Nobody, you don't have to do anything. It's every single day it's resetting, right?
it's streamlined. It is a service
Yeah.
part. Yeah, I
But
get
why
you.
I wouldn't do over 3x is because I believe when you get to 4x, there have been 20, 30, 40 times in the history that you would have got liquidated
This is
versus
the
two
part
to
where we
three.
go vibe code. We go vibe code and we compete against
Hey, we make
these
our own
people.
ETF.
Yes. I really like the idea. It's an 8x return over the long haul. The empiricism sharp. I just had some questions like, how would this be? When would this run dry? Because profit taking, and so on. And what's stopping someone from that's
You
investing in the
probably,
S&P 500
yeah.
to go 3x? There's probably
Again,
some
it's
little bit
all
more risk.
yeah, there's 100% more risk. The whole risk is
Yeah.
unless the S&P 500 drops by 100%, you don't lose your money. In
Oh,
this, all you need is 30,
oh my God.
40, you know what I'm saying? And then
Yeah,
you
exactly.
get liquidated,
Exactly.
right? And so that's
Yeah.
where you're going to get into the position where you're like, oh man, am I really right now I'm going to figure out what the management fee is because SPY's management fee is dirt cheap.
SPY. Management
Management
fee. SPY.
fee. Let's find it out. And
Get a
so,
structural.
yeah, so this one management fees are roughly around 1%. So if it's 1%, that means instead of 0.01%, it's over 10x. It's over a 10x difference, right? So you're paying 10
Yeah.
times your management fee for this
Yeah.
versus you
See,
are over there with the
the
SPY.
only the only thing that it fits into this kind of cookie cutter analogy, but analogies don't always translate 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But you're supposed to sell the shovels. You're not supposed to mine
Yeah,
a shovel. You're
exactly.
supposed to sell the shovel,
But
sell the
that's
bucket.
why
That's
management
good.
companies are the best, bro, because they literally like think about the banks. Do you know all the big banks, RBC, CIBC, everybody calls me once they know you have money. They all call you because they want you to they don't want you to buy the SPY. They want to manage your money because they want the management fee. Somebody's gonna make money on the management fee, and
It's
they
a
want to make
time
it.
money value. There's
Exactly.
time money value, and they go to
I actually
very
wanted
big
to,
extents.
I actually tried to create my own hedge fund
Funds.
before for the same reason. If you
Yeah,
have if you think about it like this, if you have
makes sense. Yeah,
$1 billion worth of assets under management, you own $0, and you charge a
yeah.
1% fee, Ahmed, you make $10 million a year.
It's amazing. It's
Yeah,
amazing. So,
and,
what
and so you can understand why
what
Kathy
you
Woods,
what
why
you
all
can
these people.
do is they can create efficiencies. Businesses do this. So there's different things that operate under capital, and they either get it to work for them and so on. Hedge funds an example, but top-down integrated business is something I really like,
Mhm.
where you could own something and use it multiple times.
Google,
Exactly. There we go.
Mhm.
So Google's new chip right now, that it
the
basically has
TPUs,
is taking
TPUs.
has taken news
Yeah,
by
because
storm.
they're
Um,
making their stuff's not as advanced as Nvidia's, but they're just they're putting their chips together into mega chips. But Amazon's coming out with chips too. So now again, it just
right
gives
now,
we
they're
we
all
talked about
starting
like
to peak.
yeah. So in
So
and
we're
who
noticing the tide.
yeah
Rav,
yeah.
how can we front run this? How
Uh-huh.
can we make profit?
So again, like I told you, man, I think we talked about it in a previous few videos ago, but
Yeah.
I don't believe the AI race is
So
something that anybody can compete because we just don't have the capital to compete with the big players until eventually where we're able to create
you invest with them. You invest with them, right? You do invest in
exactly.
Google.
And I don't think there's because again, again we look at Google. It was only a year ago where we
I
brought up the
said,
idea that Google might
I said,
fail.
AIs. We talked about the AIs. How would you go about it? You're asking for my best advice. My best advice is to buy an ETF.
Hmm.
So win lose, whoever wins or
Yeah, to
loses,
buy
you
AI
take.
ETF.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
right now, we're seeing that kind of play out where Google actually took the lead. In a sense, on the news, they're saying that Google's actually the next one. And you were talking about how Google is a big player
Yeah.
in the space. So we kind of are front
I
running.
got really lucky in Google too, man. Do you know what's happening to Alphabet stock? Let me show you. Man,
Yeah.
you won't believe how much money I've made in the last little while. Okay, if you invest into Google stock 1 year ago, the price was
Yeah.
176 USD. Right now it's 322.
Oh,
Right now Google is my best performing stock this year, 82% higher than what it was a year ago.
sounds like a meme coin.
Yeah, exactly. We fucked. It's
The
crazy.
returns that's in the stock market, especially with a big company such as Google.
Uh-huh.
It's not a small company.
Yeah, it's
For you to double or get a 200% or a hundred
and
percent
remember,
return,
this is
you
not billions. This is
add
trillions.
double the money.
They added trillions of dollars. They're almost at $4 trillion now. They're almost at $4 trillion.
They were at two. We're at like 1 point something.
Yeah, they were at 1 point something. They were
Yeah.
roughly just like right under 1.5, and now they're almost at 4. And so, bro, it's only a matter of time till these guys. I do believe, in my opinion, that they're going to take over Nvidia's because Nvidia
So I've
now
been, I've been watching a
is
lot of different opinions. And what do you think of the U.S. dollar's reserve currency status being, diminished? Um, I want to add context to this because gold has seen all-time highs. Kathy Wood suggested that gold will see a short-term downtrend as the quantitative easing comes in. So we will see the
just
dollar.
one thing I want
Um,
to note, Amin, is Nvidia right now is at 4.4 trillion. So remember, it was at 5 trillion before. Now it's at 4.4 trillion. Google is at 3.8 trillion. So it's less than $600 billion away from becoming the biggest business in the world. Which
Alphabet,
Alphabet, yeah.
Alphabet, 4.4 trillion.
Yeah, 4 point,
That
yeah.
is Bitcoin's in the trillions, but it's not there yet.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
the
yeah.
whole entire crypto space is about like 3 trillion.
All right,
But,
Ahmed. Well, listen, we're at 37 minutes. This has been a fantastic conversation today, so I really
yeah,
appreciate it. Guys,
thank you guys
if you
for
guys
coming.
have any like suggestions on what we want to talk about, because today was more of just like we just wanted to chit chat and wanted to just bring you guys in on it. But I think we really should get into quant because your boy Ahmed really here is a big fan of Jim Simmons. He is a very big quant guy. So and and he says it very right. There is clearly Jim Simmons has found a way to make money by doing the impossible, which is micro trading, and not on valuations, but on something, right? And he used AI for it. So next
Yeah.
video, I feel like it's a solid idea for us to dive deep into that. What do you think?
I think that if we created a hedge fund that would use Jim Simmons, and we talked about how Jim Simmons is limited. He was limited by the size of the market. So with AI innovation, robotics, if the size of the market increases, what if we stand on the shoulders of giants and start a hedge fund
Mm-hmm.
that employs
You,
his understanding in
yeah,
a bigger market? But we'll leave that conversation for the next time. Thank you guys for tuning in. The value that we've basically highlighted here is invest in T.
AC. Yeah.
Thank you
Again,
guys for
no
watching.
financial advice, but
Yeah.
yes, we're invested in it.
Exactly. No financial advice. We personally, exactly.
All right. Have a great rest of your day,
Subscribe to
guys.
the channel.
Have a great rest of your day. Bye bye, guys.